Hey, this is the Good, the Bad, and the Wrestling of Tony James podcast, and as always, the bells of justice are ringing. I got an update from the previous episode when we were talking about the difference between pro wrestling and sports entertainment. I hope you got the gist of that. I got some follow-up because our three biggest haters are in the news, and one of them I had to dig some things up, not intentionally, I just happened to come across it. So I thought I'd share it out. The other one's kind of big news right now, and then, of course, the other one, not so much. But the first thing I want to discuss before we get into it, I want to thank Three Brothers RC, Sinbad's Gym, Jose Sanchez Boots, and, of course, Southpaw Boxing Club. So let's just jump right into this updates episode. Rachel Ellering, as you know, was on Monty and the Pharaohs a few days back and made the comment about people she just feels need to be out of the business, and she's glad being moved out of the business, and she labeled scummy. The three people that she was asked about, Hogan was scummy and needed to be removed all completely. Tessa Blanchard, she was going to no comment. And Vince McMahon, she feels, shouldn't be allowed back in the business. So if you remember, I was asking, what is scummy? Let's define scummy, Rachel. Because not everybody, the current product's all about who's dating whom, which is new information. Braun Breaker's got another girlfriend, and people are just dating everybody, and the new girl on NXT is now dating another guy who left his wife for her, and status is being just like your social media pages. So I think the purists or the pro wrestling fans from the day always, we like the wrestlers for who they are and they're on screen. We have nothing to do with them. Outside of that, we don't know anything about them. As you know, there's wrestling fans that find out where they live, go to their house because, that's the way it's being promoted now. Nonetheless, Rachel Ellering's making her comments about what is scummy. So I found a interesting little clip of her in a wrestling match where she decides to no-sell everything. And when you watch the match, as a promoter, I wouldn't be too happy with it. You could definitely tell something had irritated her. In previous matches with this person she's wrestling, they've had good matches, and now for some reason, they both are kind of giving it to each other, but in an independent scene, in a wrestling scene, to make someone look bad, is that scummy? Because I look at pro wrestling, or as it was, as in-ring work and their character in-ring. I could, now if they had turned out to be a total crappy person, they're on the news, they need to be put away, then that's the exception, right? The current product's the opposite. Everything about your life is what moves you, and then in the ring, secondary. Look at how many people get pushed and you don't even know who they are now, but they're the ones running their mouth. So I got this clip of Rachel Ellering for you in her match where she decides she's going to go into business for herself. So we'll take a look at that and then we'll get into our next two.
Consecutive wins under their belts. They met back on February the 19th. Rachel Ellering capturing the Lady of the Ring title. After that matchup, Christy decided to kind of shake things up a little bit and headed over to Japan for a bit, did some training over there, and said that she really expanded her horizons and her wrestling repertoire. And the cover here by Christy. Rachel gets the shoulder up, and Christy James looked like she was trying to cloverleaf. Again, Rachel perhaps the more experienced grappler of the two, and a former competitive weightlifter. Christy going for the suplex there, and you couldn't pull Rachel over, and again, trying to pull her down to the mat. Another way to try to get inside Rachel Ellering's head. You can see that Rachel's trying to slow things down or trying to grind things out. Christy trying to showboat right there. Never does get Rachel down to the mat, and right there finally on the arm drag. Sends her across the ring, but oh, high knee. That running senton by Ellering. Down for the cover for the #1 contendership. No. I'm going to tell you what, friends, load them up, because this is as close to a shoot as you are going to see. Oh! Ellering going for the big kick. Did she not get enough? Christie seemingly stepped back at the last second. James with the forearm. Uh-oh. Rachel, oh, hold on. Up and over. Christy James puts it away.
You can see Rachel Ellering no sell and walk away after the finish, making it very clear.
Okay, so as you watch that, if you did, do I think that's scummy? Well, once again, as Rachel and Becky Lynch uses scummy to erase people, I don't know. Is that scummy? I don't know. Is it unprofessional? Absolutely. For someone to be painting the brush about people, now, of course, Rachel used to wrestle Tessa Blanchard. Maybe there's some heat there, I don't know. And of course, she's going to keep her mouth shut currently because they're working. WWE, Ring of Honor, all those people that fall under the umbrella work with TNA, and Tessa Blanchard, of course, is there. So they're not going to ruin their personal status right yet. I'm sure if Tessa Blanchard wasn't involved, she'd be running her mouth about her. I just find it interesting. Is that scummy? I don't know. But I got to tell you what, if I was that type of worker and then I'm running my mouth about canceling people and then no commenting people and then saying people can't return, I think I would be a hypocrite. And that's what I'm going with when it comes to Rachel Ellering. You're a hypocrite. There's some things in her interview that I liked. It's interesting that her fiance, Chris Hero, had a terrible experience with Eddie Kingston, which he had every right to do what he did. He wasn't trying to stiff anybody, but when you watch Rachel's match, it definitely comes off like she had an ulterior motive, something made her mad, whatever. And in my opinion, it's about the business in the ring. If you find out someone's a terrible person and you choose not to work with them, choose not to work with them in the back and don't book yourself or tell them not to book you. When you get in the ring and you're choosing to be in there with that person, you got to make it work. And once again, I totally disagree with her pulling the scummy card on Hulk Hogan to the point where he needs to be totally removed. So that is the Rachel Ellering update. The next one. Some people will be giving Becky Lynch some heat about this clip. They don't know if it's a work or a shoot. Come on, people. Who cares? I think she was trying to be cute, as in, I'm going to be funny. I'm at Fanatics. I'm going to try to throw a baseball and show you that I'm not athletic. And then I'm going to complain about it later and get in your face. And I know there's a clip. I don't show it. But there's a clip where Seth Rollins steps in and he kind of pushes Becky off to the side to make it look like the heat is real and she's really mad that something happened there. I don't think so. I think she's just being Becky Lynch, which she's the other person who basically said Hulk Hogan was scum and needed to be removed. And I find that interesting as well. And, of course, we all know what Seth has gone on the record. Hogan's a really bad person, not to take away from his stuff in the ring. You know, he's riding the fence on that. he feels he's a bad person that needs to be removed. And of course, that's, we know Seth Rollins being a hypocrite with what he's done, and with pictures and breaking up relationships and cheating and all that. But once again, I don't care about that. I want to see Seth Rollins in the ring and wrestle. I'm not a Seth Rollins fan, but I think you shouldn't hold that against him. There's infidelities all the time. Be able to once again be hypocritical kills me. So we're going to watch this video here on Becky Lynch, just to kind of put this one to rest.
Oh, come on. You're putting us out of treating this manager here. Yeah, where is he? Where is he? I want to talk to him. Where is he? I want to talk to him. This is not fair.
Okay, so I think it's just that poor attempt on her to try to be cute and work, because wrestling is no longer a work anymore. There's no kayfabe. You are who you are. You put it out there. So she's trying to be a pro wrestler there, and you're not. It's sports entertainment. Number two, you are who you are. There's no trying to keep up the facade of Becky Lynch the man. By you throwing that baseball and doing that and wearing what you're wearing, in my opinion, kind of kills the whole man thing. But I digress. I'm not going to give Becky Lynch crap for this clip. I just give her crap for being a hypocrite with what she's saying, especially with her husband. The final thing I want to talk about is CM Punk. Remember, CM Punk's the guy who loves to cancel people, rip people a new one, and not give them second chances. Now it's come out that he, of course, made that comment he made to The Miz and about Saudi Arabia, going to Saudi Arabia and all that, and then being asked in a Q&A, impromptu, spontaneous, real interview, being asked to apologize. So we've got a couple things here. So let's take a look at that. So this first clip I got, during the Night of Champions post-show, Triple H said the following about Punk apologizing. Saudi fans, if you'd have told me 10 years ago, I'm going to paraphrase here, you can read it, CM Punk would be here in Saudi, I wouldn't believe it. And then they learned that as such is life, not only was I privileged to watch them this week, they prepared for the night, I was privileged to watch two men grow as people, especially CM Punk. Oh, man. I was privileged to watch him grow as a human being. So Triple H is gushing over him. Isn't that nice? So then, of course, Dave Meltzer, which I don't find him as credible as other people do. So I got a hold of somebody who supposedly was there. And now, after his controversial publicly apology and apologizing for fans, or to fans for his past mean tweet to The Miz and at a pre-night Champions event, it has been reported by Dave Meltzer that the one in attendance who prompted him to issue the apology, which was the fan, and he hugged following the show, was actually a plant by the WWE. Obviously, was planted. Somebody wanted him to apologize, and he did, because he's not exactly the apologetic type. For one thing, I thought he came off just horrible. That made him apologize. So Dave Meltzer saying that was a plant to try to fix a wrong, because all of a sudden CM Punk, I'm not hypocritical. I tell people, I set the standard on straight edge. All of a sudden it's going to Saudi Arabia. Which leads me to the final clip here. During the Night of Champions kickoff show before Friday Night SmackDown, CM Punk apologized for his controversial 2020 tweet about Saudi Arabia, blood money, after talking to a fan that asked him, and he said, "This guy wants me to apologize for a mean tweet I wrote 6 years ago. Hey, listen, I legitimately had nothing to do with Saudi Arabia. I woke up, I was crabby, and I wrote a mean tweet to The Miz, and I apologized to The Miz. And sir, what's your name? Mohammed, I really apologize to you, and I love Saudi Arabia. I'm not perfect by any means. Sometimes as a human being we screw up. The beautiful thing is everything is a lesson learned. And now here I am, and you have invited me into your country, and I'm grateful to be here. Thank you very much." Okay, sweet. Let's say there wasn't a plan, and that really did happen. Boy, CM Punk, I hope you take your own advice, because there's multiple former guys that are getting a bad rap. Anytime you decide you don't like somebody, We know who you do like because you wear their gear and you mimic their matches, move for move. We know the guys you don't like because you come out and you rip them and they don't get a second chance and you say they're bad and they're terrible and you just don't like them. Now, not liking them growing up, I get it. You were a Hot Rod fan. You were a Macho Man fan. You were a Bret Hart fan. You didn't like the other guys such as Hogan and them. That's cool. I don't care. I'm not a CM Punk guy. I'm not a Seth Rollins guy. I wasn't a John Cena guy. I'm not a Brock Lesnar guy. Fine. You just don't like them. But you, of course, have taken it further. And now you're saying you made a mistake. And now if we take it on face value, cool. You apologize, you move on, and no one's going to say boo to you, and we're going to be good. And you get your second chance that you want, knowing what you did say was scummy. It was scummy what you said. And now if this was a plant to fix the situation, to prompt the situation, to fix it, and you were aware of it, scummy. So Rachel and Becky Lynch, if they've defined scummy, this fits right up there with what they're determining scummy is, in my opinion. I really don't care, CM Punk, about your apology, what you said 6 years ago. You haven't killed anybody. You like to go, you're political. You do your political rallies, just like other guys do, right? Nobody says boo to you. You can say things, come back and say, I'm human, I get a second chance, and everybody's cool. That's hypocritical. That's kind of scummy. So out of the three, Rachel Ellering. Rachel who? That's what I thought. Really not making any moves on the rating scale, are you? Merchandise, whatever it may be. So continue to lay the law down with your scummy definition. Becky Lynch, I'm not going to give Becky Lynch crap. I don't like Becky Lynch at all, but give her a break. She was trying to act like she was trying to do kayfabe when kayfabe's dead, trying to be funny. Not funny, but you know what I mean. She was, I'm Becky Lynch, and I want to see the manager. This isn't fair. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to cause a scene, and my husband's going to pull me away. I'm the man, and that's what I do. Whatever, don't give her crap. She's just trying to play a part, and she plays it very poorly. And then finally, CM Punk. I can't wait to see if this is the truth, that there was a plant. If that was a plant, it makes it double scummy. If it's not a plant, what he said 6 years was bad, was scummy. Coming out and apologizing, if he's sincere, good for him. Even if he's not, he's apologizing, he's trying to fix it, and he's saying it. But keep in mind, he's doing everything that he's criticizing other people for. So, in my opinion, Rachel and Becky, I agree with you. That's scummy. I just wanted to do a brief little update on episode 6 that I just put out a couple weeks ago. We're going to put a nail in this and put it to bed because I want to get back to talking about pro wrestling, not sports entertainment. I want to talk about the greats, Barry Windham. I want to talk about the U.S. Express with Barry Windham. I want to talk Ricky Steamboat matches. I want to talk Japan AWA Hulk Hogan, Fujinami, Tenryu. All Stan Hansen in the 90s with the all pro Japan roster that came through and changed the face of wrestling there for a while. Let's talk about pro wrestling. That's what I want to do. So I put my toe in the stream a little bit to play along with current podcasts in sports entertainment, who's dating who, which I'm not going to give you a list of that because I could care less. Just to show you the difference between pro wrestling and sports entertainment. And I shared that quote in the previous episode. So, hey, it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear your comments if you want to leave them. Just remember, go out and watch some indie matches. Indie wrestling, for those who do it, there are some guys and girls out there doing it well. Doing it well, as LL would say. So go watch them and support them. And you know what? I would say don't be a jerk on the ones who can't do it properly, but you don't have to give them a complete pass either. I mean, you're paying to watch them. If you don't believe what they're doing in the ring, you're allowed to boo. Just go to an indie match and enjoy it and see what you can get out of it. So with that being said, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. God is good, and I will see you at the matches.
Hammers.